Okay, we are coming on to the final stretch of our first custom journal. It's sticking a little bit again. That's to be expected. So now we see our ends are nice and crisply folded down. The next bit is to do the top and the bottom. We'll make sure we have it good. Yeah, have enough room for those. Now, because of the thickness of the leather, it's nice to thin the leather here and sometimes do a little cut as well. Because this tutorial is for doing this as cheaply as possible, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just gonna stuff it in there and we'll do our very best to get it to look good. But it might be a bit crowded in there. Not to worry, thinner material like book cloth or thinner leather, this is probably a 2mm leather, and you can get 1mm leather if you want it. That will be less crowded. Bigger book, probably a little less crowded as well if you do get an A3 and fold it in half instead of folding a A5 in half. Okay. Get this well covered all the way along our leather. You don't want too much extra here, and we don't need any extra. The main thing we want to do is make sure the ends here have enough that when they fold down, we get a good little stick, especially at the corners. Everything else kind of folds together and holds itself just by the fact that it's folded and the book's closed. All right. Oh, that's pretty cooperative today. So we get our ends together. Sometimes a little extra glue and a couple of taps with a hammer makes these corners nice and tight. Oh, and then a little overspill there. So you can see here where we've got a little more leather than we would probably want in there normally. But as you use it and kind of press it down, that will get a little thinner, and I don't think you'll mind that. See, there's a little extra here. What we could possibly do is try just taking a little bit of this leather out of there. On a tutorial, I shouldn't experiment like that, but I'm gonna give it a try. And see if using one of these scissors to remove some of that might be. There we go. Now, don't worry about this gash being there. That's covered anyway with our next step. As you do this more, you'll get better and better at these leather corners. I have to admit it's not my strong point, but I'm getting there. A little bit of extra glue in there and a little tap tap, and that will be solid. What I'm going to do on this side, I think, is take out bit of the leather, not all the way to the top, but I'm going to take out some of it just to ensure that we don't have quite so much of a bulge there. I wasn't expecting it to bulge up quite as much as that other side did. But if we take that out of there, then that'll fold over nicely and give room for these ends. I'm going to tuck this guy away again. These seem to be holding well enough. Give a little bit of glue down either side. That might have been a bit much, but we'll spread it through this middle as well. Yeah, that was a bit heavy on the glue. The thing with doing these videos in stages like this is sometimes you get into a nice groove when you're doing a book, and if you just keep going with that groove, everything goes smoothly and you knock one out and it looks great. But to stop and go and stop and go, sometimes you just kind of lose your mojo a little bit. But not the end of the world. I'm going to take that extra glue off of there as much as I can, and I'll use it on the other corners once I get these ones in there. So, I'll wrap these down. Again, normally not a big issue, but we seem to be having more than our share of problems today as we do this. You see the extra glue coming out there will be an issue if we don't use tissue paper there, so we will use some tissue to solve the issue. Having a little too much on the corner is preferable to not having enough, because even after this dries a little bit, we can work some glue in there. Get those corners looking nice and neat and tight. So I'm going to fold that down there, fold this one down there, and then in between this video and the last video, we unloaded the boat. Oh. And this monstrous block of granite came out with our stuff, and it'll press that down, I think, even better than this in some cases. And you can kind of peek around the edges here, have a look to see how everything's doing. I'd normally leave it sitting there for a few minutes and then lift it off, open the book up and see that everything's kind of pressing where I want it to press. Yeah, there will be paper around the edges as we finish the inside that will cover up all manner of sins. So we will put this here, and I know that's a short little step for today, but it completes the outside construction of the book, and it's only a little bit of stuff on the inside of the covers that we have left to do. And then we will have our notebook complete. So one more video to come, fairly short one, I think, and then we're all done. And until then, have a great day.